Hello and welcome to another fly tying video with me and Sergeant's Outdoor Adventures. I'm going to be tying the hotshot comet. I'm kind of using materials that I have kind of left over. There's many ways to tie this, but this is something that I've kind of done and mimicked myself. So it's a size 6 streamer hook. We'll tie in a jam knot roughly about an eye length behind the hook, or behind the eye there. And you'll take a chain bead. You'll figure 8 that on. A couple helicopter turns underneath those beads. Just make sure it's nice and secure. Now I'm just lining the shank of the hook. Roughly to the tip of the hook there. Like I said, there's lots of materials to use. So for my tail, I'm actually going to use some pink marabou. This is a great fly for salmon, steelhead. We have pinks in our rivers up here in the Pacific Northwest in the odd years. That's why I'm tying this in a pink. So I'm doing roughly about a hook shank tail. And we'll pinch wrap that in. And continue it up. So you're not cutting off any excess here because you're trying to build a body. You want to leave a nice collar space behind that bead eye. Okay, as you guys saw, I accidentally clipped my tying thread here. So I got that retied in and we'll continue up. So now I'm just layering over all this tail material, trying to create a nice even body. Ending with your thread roughly in between the barb and the tip of the hook there. And it's okay, these little hairy fibers are going to get covered up. So now I'm taking a pinch of pearl flash or flashabou. Just a nice little pinch. Tie that in back here. And go in and wrap that back in all the way to that collar point. Now from here we're just taking nice even wraps to create that tinseled body. Tied quite a few flies since my last video. I'm getting a little better at this. I'm making a few mistakes here and there, but something I'm really enjoying doing now. Alright, lock this in. And trim off any excess. So from here I'm going to add a little flash into the collar. So I'm taking some thin pink flash strands here, about a pencil's length. I'm going to lay that in half. Tie that in. And then we're going to fold this over. If I can get these hairs to not lock around the eye here. Alright, so with my finger I'm actually laying those flat. So a little bit on top. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom belly portion of this. You want to wrap to the back of that collar to make sure everything laying down flat. Now comes the fun, harder part, is separating all this from your tail. I'm going to trim all this excess about the length of the body here. Now what you created here is a nice fluffy, flashy collar. To finish off my collar, I'm actually going to use a strand of bunny brush. This is a wire cord, so it's going to add a little more weight to that head. So preen off a little bit on the tip here so you have a tying point. And with that thread just behind that bead here. So try to keep everything preened back as you're wrapping this collar here. And do a few good turns. Make sure you end up right behind the eye of that bead there. A few turns to lock that in, and bring everything back. A few tight turns behind the eyes, and then I like to do a few more helicopter turns to make sure everything's locked in. Figure eights, make sure these bead chain is locked in here. And then a few turns in front of that bead chain eye. Trim off your excess there. A few good whip turns on your whip finish tool. I do 5 on here because this is actually a good steelhead salmon fly, so trim off that thread. And a few drops of head cement. On your whip finish. And there you have it. The hotshot comet.